was sitting in the kitchen and I was like, Lord, what am I gonna do? I have all of these responsibilities, all of this going on, and it seems like I'm doing everything I can for you, and everything is just going opposite. Anybody ever been there where it seems like you were doing all you knew to do, and still you took 2 steps forward and you took 5 steps back, and you're saying, God, what in the world is going on? And I was sitting in my kitchen and I didn't understand it. And then these words came. I said, Lord, you are good. You've been so good. Lord, you are good. You've been better than good. I can't.
Welcome to the Better for Today podcast show.
What is going on? Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You can add some names if you want to. I'm Al. That's Carmen. Can't see you.
Right there.
I can't see you.
Oh, I see you.
I can't see you. That's better. People need to see you. No. I need to see you. We getting our things in order, I think. Hold on. Let us know you're in the building. If you're in the building. Oh, excuse me. Gotta brought this to us. Share. We got that out the way. All right. I hope you guys had a good day. If not, let's work on having a good evening. I had today off.
I didn't.
Did I mess it up?
Why?
I think I messed it up. There we go. She done messed it up some more. Boy, Keisha, you early. Where's your husband at? Hope he's out doing something productive. All right, so as y'all know, today is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
But today is Juneteenth.
You ain't had a day off, so.
I know I did not.
Still
I had to work.
underneath the man's rule.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, they had it posted on our main website screen that this is a federal holiday.
Everything was closed.
So why? I asked employee services. So you say that this is a federal holiday. Why don't we have it? Oh, you could have taken it and used your time.
It ain't a holiday then.
I said, oh, so is it the same for 4th of July? No comment.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who worked today. A whole lot of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, like my wife said, today is Juneteenth. If you have no idea what that is, I would advise you to do some research. That's not what this show is about.
Nope.
We're not going to talk about it. I'm not saying it decreases the importance of it, but that's just not what we're doing tonight. This is Men's Health Awareness Month, Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're concentrating on the men this month. Society pushes us to the side a lot. I don't know if that's ever going to change. But in the meantime, let's get ourselves together mentally. Tonight's topic is, why is it so hard for men to talk about their emotions? And when you do the research, there's just a variety of reasons why that happens. Let me see if I can upload these pictures. I don't think I can. I think I deleted it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I deleted them. Well, just 2 anniversaries. She says, "See y'all in the rain." One to some dear friends of ours, the Moody's.
Yeah.
I can't remember how many years this is, but we want to say happy anniversary to you. Anniversary. Yeah, happy anniversary to you guys. Y'all know what y'all mean to us. And we'll see you soon. Danielle, you got to do more empty bowls.
Because we're coming.
You don't have enough empty bowls, Danielle.
And she's going to tell you it's a fall thing.
Well, then get up off the floor after you fall and create more empty bowls. Another couple that's dear to us is Faith and Dobie Wright. Greg Wright. Dobie was instrumental in my rearing up. We didn't know what was right. It's ironic that his last name is right. And he taught me what he knew. Glory to God that we're still here. So now flip the script. People can see that there's an alternative way to life for men, and you can still be productive.
Yeah.
I don't think I have to explain it again, but I will. This is a faith-based show. Our foundation is the Word of God. And our scripture for tonight is James 5:16. You want to read it?
Let me get it.
It's going to pop on your screen.
Where?
1, 2, 3. Boom.
Oh, confession. Oh, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed.
I have capitalized that you may be healed.
Okay. And your emphasis?
If you do the first 2, the third will happen.
Oh, okay. That's true.
Confessing your sins to another is the hardest thing that we as men will ever experience because of our fear. People say, "Oh, I'm not afraid." Yeah, you're afraid of how people are going to view you or what they're going to think about you, and we got to get over that. We got to get over that. Nicole, I turned the air up too.
I could feel the draft coming.
I swear I turned it up. So I got notes today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 subjects that I've highlighted. There's so many subjects, it's crazy. But these are the 6 that I've highlighted. And the first one is cultural conditioning. The second one is fear of judgment. The third one is lack of emotional vocabulary, which is the one we're going to deal with today.
Oh, okay. I remember you talking about that.
The fourth is masculine identity. Fifth is lack of safe places. That's a really good one when we dive in. And the sixth is fear of burdening others. Once again, let us know you're in the building. Anybody who wants to come on, let me know so I can send you the link. You may have some information that's useful. Like we said last week, if there's something that you're burdened with, inbox me. We don't have to know.
Hey, Winnie.
What's up, man? She called you Winnie.
He will always be Winnie to me.
People don't have to know that it's you who have the issue. We won't put you out there and say, "What up, G?" Place. This is a safe place right here. That is correct. This is a safe place. Yeah. And we have a plethora of people who come on because we don't know it all.
Right, but we have people in place.
That's correct.
Who read the big books.
One of my mottos is, I don't have to know everything. I can just call somebody who do.
That's right. They read the book.
I don't have to be like you. I just need your information.
Yeah.
That's it. So yeah, those were the 6. And like I said, the one we're going to deal with tonight is the lack of an emotional vocabulary. The biggest issue that we are confronted with as men is we're not taught.
How to express yourself.
Because whoever's been tasked with bringing us up, they haven't been taught. Whoever's been tasked with bringing them up, they haven't been taught. But we're breaking that because I read something the other day that says we need to start. Let me say it correctly. I should have had it written down. It's important that we train our young men to be emotional so we're not continuously trying to fix broken men. And there's a lot of men out here that are broken and probably don't even know it. There's this pastor I listened to the other day. His name is Darius McClure. I think I'm saying his name wrong. And he was talking about comfort dysfunction. And in this comfort dysfunction, he was saying how we have taken survival and made it a strategy. And a lot of us don't even understand that. Some of the things that we needed to do when we were younger, we're still doing that in our later years. And it could possibly be working. But there's so much on the inside of us as men that I think we want to deal with, but we're just I think the word I'm looking for is vulnerability. We're afraid of being vulnerable. We're afraid of letting people in because from my experiences, men hurt deeper than women. Let me change that. We hurt just as hard as women.
Right.
We hurt just as much.
Would you say that it would be a pride thing? Because you would be known as this big entity, and it's kind of hard to step down and be vulnerable and let people know you got some weak points, or you feel weak about something, not weak as an individual, but there's some things that you have an emotional feeling about.
So there is not one thing you can pinpoint, because for me it could be pride, somebody else could be fear. So it's a plethora of things,
right?
That are the reason behind it. I think for me, I think it's fear. A lot of us say we don't care what people think. You got a lying problem too, because we do. Because if we didn't, it wouldn't matter how we felt about what somebody thought about us once we said something. Right. Hey Loretta, I don't struggle with that. I'm just learning in my latter years with my wife that there's some things we're not supposed to talk about in public.
Yeah.
I'm learning that.
Right.
I'm not ashamed. I'm just not ashamed.
It has nothing to do with the shame, but it's that everybody don't need to be in our conversation.
I understand that.
Yeah.
From how I grew up, that never made sense to me. Because what do you care about? Who knows what about you? It doesn't matter to me. But right. I'm learning to protect your privacy.
Right.
Because of how you feel. Like for me, it don't matter to me. I don't.
Right.
But you don't like that. So that's why I don't do it.
Right.
But you got a lot of people, like say for instance, a married couple, and I'm getting off subject, they may have a disagreement. I don't wait till we get home.
No. You don't.
We're gonna talk about that right then and there, because I don't want this thing to how can I say it? I don't want the intensity of it to die down.
Right. Bring that same energy.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I don't want to get home and now all of a sudden, you bring that up now? That's just not gonna happen. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I think I'm right, but because of how I feel about my wife, I make sure that this is how she feels about it. I'm not gonna do it. And I believe that same skill, we can call it skill, is what's causing a lot of us men not to get help.
Yeah. I get it.
Based off who's in the room. I don't want them knowing this. And we'll say,
I get you.
I'm telling you, and we'll say stuff. So me and my wife, we have become analysts of a lot of stuff we watch. And it's crazy how we'll rationalize our behavior. Knowing we was just watching the first 48.
I was gonna say how He justified.
You just watch the first 48.
Oh, yeah, I sell weed.
It's a justification to him,
But we
it's your
call
mind.
it bags.
Yeah, it's your mind
Yeah.
rationalizing that nonsense behavior.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
as long as that takes place,
Mm-hmm.
you'll never get the help you need because you can justify it through rationality.
Excuse me. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've seen some people say something and it's almost like, man, that sounded good. You can see their body expression go, that was good. I'm serious. I mean, you can literally see how they go.
Like, I bought that.
Yeah, that was
I
pretty
got
good.
it. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep going with that.
Mm-hmm. They got it. Yeah, they took it.
But one of the things we got to learn as men, vulnerability is not a weakness.
No.
Opening up to tell somebody how you feel is very important. And I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about, then we're going to dive in. So I was watching a show called SWAT the other day. And this young man was very attracted to this young lady, and she was attracted to him.
Oh,
Okay, so she was a journalist, and he's on SWAT. And so they were trying to find this young lady who was in danger.
mm-hmm.
And he and her ended up at the young lady's house at the same time. Now, because of his affection and his inability to articulate that, it came across as anger.
Right.
Why? Because we're good at articulating anger.
Mm-hmm.
We're very good at that. And so he said to her, "What are you doing here?" And she was like, "I'm a journalist." And he was like, "Oh, it's not safe." This was his way of showing he cared.
Right.
But this was the only way he knew how
Right.
to emphasize to her
that he was concerned and cared.
But women don't take it like that.
No. Yeah, no.
So his friend, which was another chick,
mm-hmm.
pulled him to the side and said, "What if you would have said, 'Hey, I was just concerned about your safety,' opposed to going, 'You shouldn't be here.'" This is what we're getting at when we talk about emotional vocabulary.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We just have not learned
mm-hmm.
how to. I think for me, it made me feel like I was soft. To really, like I'm really telling my how I felt. But so let me retract. When I said I don't have a problem with it, I wasn't saying it right.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem talking about my emotions, but it wasn't coming out right.
No.
So I had to learn the proper vocabulary. Like, you have to learn your mate's language.
Right.
So that when you say something, they understand you.
Right. That they're actually opposed to shutting down. They're hearing the words that are coming out your mouth. Yeah.
And we're just, roundabout summarizing what we're talking about. We heard a story yesterday of a good friend of ours, how he was in a relationship with this chick, and she said to him that he was aggressive. And he was aggressive, how he was dealing with her. And so he decided not to be aggressive anymore.
Right.
And she took that as he was playing.
He was being belligerent.
Belligerent.
So now you're going to play with me. You're going to joke about it. Yeah.
And she threw it in his face.
Opposed to accepting, like, wow, he really took what I said and put it into play. Women don't really understand the power that they have, how you can break walls down and you can build walls up on your mere words and your actions especially towards your partner, your mate.
What I got from that was, it's crazy how you can get what you want and still not appreciate it.
Not really, not receive it, because you're taking it opposed to what it is. You're taking it as now, like, what's the catchword now? You're gaslighting me, or you're just being belligerent.
Okay.
Because we talked about that, and now you're gonna you're gonna now act that way? Or is it really you type of a thing?
Are you being serious?
Yeah, is
Opposed
this
to
really
going,
you, or just accepting it?
This is what I asked for.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
but that we can say that's the same way when God tells you to do something, you ignore it. He shows you where it is. He sends 3 different people with what you asked for, and you ignore it because it didn't come the way.
I think that's what it is right there.
Yeah, because it wasn't packaged the way.
It didn't come right.
Right, packaged the way you wanted it to be packaged. It was what you needed.
So that's one of the reasons, as men, we don't vocalize as we should, because once it gets thrown back at us,
you shut down.
You're never gonna hear it again.
Build the walls.
You know what I'm saying? It's and it's wrong for us to do that. You know, it's wrong. Like my wife would ask me to do stuff, and I would always be like, "Nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that." And so she stopped asking me, and I said to her, and I'm saying this for me as well, you can't stop asking. I don't care if you stop at all. But what I'm saying is you can't allow past behavior to control how you go about doing stuff.
Yeah,
you gotta hope one day a yes will come up, or there'll be a change in behavior.
Have to say yes.
You didn't stop.
Right.
You did stop. Hold on.
I did stop.
You did stop,
but then I reconvened because
you
don't live under that no more.
You can't. It's almost like this is a discussion I had with a dude, I don't know, about 3-4 days ago. Your wife's behavior doesn't give you the right to do nothing. Your husband's behavior doesn't give you a right to do anything. You know, because what is that? That's kid stuff.
It's lame.
You cannot allow somebody's behavior to alter yours.
Right.
You continue on the same way you're going.
Right.
If they change, fine. If they don't, you got to change how you view it.
Right.
All right. So we're talking about, I got notes. We're talking about lack of emotional vocabulary today. Our foundation scripture is James 5:16. Confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. This is the ultimate goal, people. Healing. Getting past practices so that you can improve, number one, how you view things, how you hear things, which in turn will change how you act towards things. Some of us are acting the same way we was acting when we was 18, 19 years old. I heard Denzel Washington say the other day, if you're doing the same thing today that you did 40 years ago, you don't wasted 40 years of your life. You sleepy already?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you like this. Hey.
I saw you.
All right, so I'm going to read and then we're going to elaborate.
Okay.
It says, many men aren't taught how to identify or express complex emotions. Instead of saying, I feel anxious and overwhelmed, a man might only know how to express it through anger. All right. So we're going to go deeper, but I think that portion of a man, a woman has to be gentle with him right then.
Definitely. I'm very protective of your heart.
And
you
so
have to protect their heart.
Her perception of what a man is may have to change.
And that's based off her environment,
how she grew up, how she's
right.
been taught how to view guys. So because we get this thing that men are supposed to be strong. I mean, okay, that's great. But we're the same as you are. There's not much difference.
Right. That's true. It's true.
I told somebody the other day, I said, what up, really well? I said, hold on, I'm missing some comments here. Keisha's laughing. What's up, Press? Yo, Pick, what up, C? I said, hey, man, there's some gay in you. I said, there's some woman in you. He said, there ain't no woman in me. I said, what hand do you throw it? And this is for all the dudes out there. I said, what hand do you throw it? So I throw it with my right hand. I said, throw with your left hand. And he was like, I said, that's a joke. But we have this. You got to remember when a woman was taken out of us. Yeah. So the emotions that's in her are in us as well.
It's true.
We just don't know how to articulate it. How do I say to my wife, I don't like that without saying something stupid? Like, don't give me that. You keep peeking over here. There's only two of us in the house. You think I don't see you? You think I don't see you? I don't do that no more.
No.
I can explain to you why I don't like it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because how do you expect somebody to not do something if you can't explain to them why you don't like it?
Right.
Opposed to going, I don't want that.
Why right. Opposed to articulate it, like I made the rice, and you's like, I don't like the taste of that lime in the rice. I just like white rice. Yeah. And it was like, okay, I heard you.
Yeah.
You know, so because I like it doesn't mean that I'm gonna do it that way, because that's selfish. Well, I know you don't like it.
How can you get upset if they do it again and you haven't told them?
Right. Now you can get upset because you told me. And if I don't
get upset, I'm not gonna eat it. You know? Why would I get upset? Because you like it.
Yeah.
But if you put it on my plate,
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I'm not gonna eat it.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit and explain to you again why I don't.
And then essentially that's setting myself up
for disappointment.
For not only disappointment, but then discord between us, because it's as though I didn't hear you. I didn't listen to you.
I'm past that though.
What do you mean?
Like, say for instance, you were to make with the rice and put it on my plate. I'm not going to trip. I'm just not going to eat it.
Right. No, I wouldn't do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, it's happened, but I'm just not going to eat it. Well, we ain't talking about rice.
Oh.
That rice was yummy. Well, then you come and get it all, Keisha.
It's just him, Keisha. Everybody else loves it.
That's on them.
Yeah,
I'm not knocking them.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
No, you're right.
I have a right to not like it.
Right, like crabs. You don't eat crabs.
I've never ate crabs.
Never.
You got crabs?
No.
I'm hoping you don't.
I got crabs. I had some crabs the other day.
You went to the doctor?
King crabs.
Oh, from the store. Yeah, that. You don't say that too loud. You know, I had crabs the other day. So you can get rid of them like that. All right. Lack of emotional vocabulary. It's when you feel it but can't say it. How do we get past that?
Yeah.
I wish they had some examples. But like I said, I'm gonna read this.
Mm-hmm.
Stop me, bro. Emotional vocabulary is the ability to identify, name, and express your feelings clearly and honestly.
Sometimes I'm gonna say earlier on in our relationship, I don't know. I don't know if, would you say shame?
No.
Or embarrassment, or
it's fear.
Okay. Yeah.
I told you for me what it was.
Right.
It's fear of the fact that, number one, because how I was raised, you're going to take my information and use it against me.
Right.
Number two, it made me feel soft.
Mm.
Like, real niggas supposed to be talking like that?
Mm.
That's untrue.
It is.
You supposed to be talking like that.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, in a relationship, do you really know your mate?
Mm.
Have y'all really sat down and talked about some of the things that really make you insecure?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we did that maybe once or twice.
Yeah, true.
You still can't give me the password to your OnlyFans page.
Who's got an OnlyFans page?
I've seen you sitting in front of your computer naked.
Really?
Yeah.
Naked.
2 a.m. Only thing that comes to mind for me is OnlyFans. So, and I'm insecure about that. I really. All right, let's get back on subject.
God, you're giving me a headache.
Now you feel the air off. It's getting warm in here.
No, I feel good.
Yeah, it's getting warm in here. So here's some examples. It says, instead of just saying, I'm fine, I'm mad, I'm tired, you can say, I feel anxious about failing. I feel rejected. I feel ashamed and I don't know why. Now, think of a man saying that. I feel ashamed and I don't know why. What would be your response?
Babe, what's the matter?
I just said, I don't know why. So,
no, honestly,
but hey, let's go back to what you just said. I'm not looking for you to ask me what's wrong.
Right, and that's my natural. It's just
because I just told you.
Right, you just told me. So it's not that I'm not listening.
So frustration would come on to me.
Yeah, because I'm just being concerned.
You didn't hear me,
and you're thinking I didn't hear you.
That's right.
And I was literally
autopilot.
Yeah, because I'm a fixer. Yeah,
and this is something, and particularly when we're dealing with our men, you got to come off autopilot.
Yeah.
You got to deal with situations how they are happening.
Yes.
And not for how it's happened. Right. Or how you would deal with, like, one of the things I've noticed about a lot of couples is they don't individualize a lot. And I heard this the other day, and it might have been a video you sent me. I don't know. You sent so many. I'm about to block you. But they were talking about, she was talking about she was an alpha woman, something like that.
Okay.
And in the society that we live in, there's a certain way that women have to be in the streets, and particularly in corporate America.
Right.
If you're in corporate America and you're higher up there, there's a certain way that you got to act.
You have to have that doggy dog.
You have to.
You know, like I'm stomping with the men.
You have to.
Yeah, you have to, or you're gonna get eaten.
But when you come through the door, you don't turn it off.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to, because you're still into that.
You gotta learn
dictating what needs to be done. Yeah,
you gotta learn to turn it off. So the individualization doesn't take place, and now your husband gets viewed as you've been treating these men in corporate America. He's not going to tell you how you feel. You came in barking orders. You understand what I'm saying? So individualization in relationships is important, because you got to understand that who you've been dealing with all day is not who's standing in front of you.
At all.
So that's one of the things that can cause men to not, because me, I make sure I sit in the car or sit down in the garage for a solid 10, 15 minutes to unload the day. I unload the day. As I'm taking my shoes off, I'm like, Carmen ain't got nothing to do with what went on in the day. And if you notice, I don't talk about my day until you say something.
That's true. You don't.
That stays out there. I don't bring that in here. You know what I'm saying?
I always ask you about your day because I want you to regurgitate it. I want you to get it out.
Nothing to get out.
And that sometimes in the purge.
You ever thought about greeting me naked?
I could do that.
So like.
But I'm at work when you're here.
I'm gonna make sure I come home when you're off. Anyway.
Off subject.
Being able to name emotions help us process them in a healthy, God-honoring way. It says many men were never taught to explore their emotions. They were told, get over it, don't think about it, man up. So they grew up feeling emotions deeply, but only to express anger, silence, or withdrawal. This emotional numbing is not strength. It's a wound that needs healing.
Wow. Yeah.
So here's a book. I'm big on books, especially the ones I've read. I would recommend everybody to get this book. It's called Healing the Father Wound by Bishop Stephen W. Banks, and it has a workbook. That is the workbook. This is the actual book, and the one that was up before that was the workbook. These are very good tools in not only helping you to articulate what's wrong, but to help you find out what could be wrong.
the root of the issue.
Right.
Right.
A lot of people in our class were raised without a dad. Some were raised with a dad in the house, but the dad was still absent. He was the provider, the disciplinarian, but he didn't have counsel and all. And if you were around a man or your dad who was able to do that, man, you don't know how blessed you are.
Right.
You really don't know how blessed you are to someone to be able to show you not only how to articulate what's going on with you, but you could visibly see how you're supposed to treat a woman. I never saw that. I never had an example of how to treat a woman. I never had an example. I don't even think, it might help example how to raise kids. I just personally think kids is trial and error. You know what I'm saying? But it's always good to have an example of how that works.
She said, can you put the book up again?
Can you put it up again? Sorry, Keisha. I got to find it. All right. This is the book, Healing the Father Wound by Stephen W. Banks. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and probably a whole bunch of other places. But those are only two I know.
And his website?
His website is www.stephenwbanks.org or SWB.
I think it's SWB.
Keisha, he's the gentleman that came on talking about the insurance.
Right.
Talking about the SUL.
IUL.
WUMP, that. And here's his workbook. I would emphasize get the workbook because you don't want to go to the next chapter without working yourself through each chapter. And the workbooks not only gives you questions, but I believe it gives you like task to do so that you can, like, before you go to the next chapter, you go, okay, I completed this, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Reggie, what's going on, bro? Once again, it was a counseling session for 12 weeks. We was in it for 2 years. I don't know about anybody else, but I believe I can speak for everybody who was in it. It saved my life. It let me know that trauma can get passed down.
Yeah.
And you just got to be gully enough to go, yeah, that's me. You know, I read something the other day that says, how can you expect God to fix what you won't own?
My lost power. Yeah, right.
What's that? Hey, guys, we have no power. Well, your phone's working. Turn your flashlight on, huh?
You would just turn your phone, turn the light on the phone.
Yeah. Don't turn it on long. You got to go in your car and charge it. Okay, Keisha says, yes, I know him from your church. What? Yes, right. He was the original founder of our ministry.
Right.
Mima says she has no power. We talked about that. Reggie said, I was just watching on Instagram. However, it won't allow me to write my full comment. So I came over to Facebook. Love you guys. We're on Instagram. Wow, it really went through.
So what's your comment?
She said, so write your comment, Reg. Mima, if there's something you need us to do, let us know.
Please.
Yeah, let us know. All right. So yeah, because of what we've been told as young men, we've grown up into silent grown men.
Yeah.
And our silence is broken with anger. Silence is broken with silence. Silence is broken with anger or withdrawal. It doesn't take much for us to withdraw. And it's not hard to tell when a man is withdrawn. You can just look at his body language. You can look at his body language and tell. It just came back on. I was praying. See how fast prayer works? Look at that.
What are you doing?
My wife.
We are not making jest of you, Holy Spirit. But
So it gives the example in the book of Psalms about King David, how he was able to talk about his emotions. This is Psalm 6:3. It says, my soul is in deep anguish. How long, Lord, how long? And then in Psalm 6:6 says, I'm worn out from my groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping. So if you are, hey, Meesh, she said, thank you. If you don't have, let me say this correctly, because I don't want to say you don't have faith. Everybody has faith.
Right.
But based off what you have faith in can determine what kind of help. Am I saying that right? Your faith should be in the right thing so that you're guided to the right help. The barbershop is good. I don't think you're going to get the help you need in there.
Depends on who's there.
That's true too. Find you someone who does not know you. Counselors. We use the word psychiatrists. If you're working, I believe that your insurance pays for you to go and see a mental health. Let's say a mental health therapist.
Right. But I would say if you have somebody who you deem,
it don't always work like that, Constance.
That gives sound counsel.
Okay, so here's the deal, and this is as real as it's going to get.
Okay.
Somebody that knows you, you're not going to tell them everything. You're just not. Carmen, you just are not going to tell somebody that knows you everything that's going on. Me and you have talked, and you have said, I don't talk to nobody.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
You need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to talk to somebody. Hey, Miss Shirley. Yeah, everybody needs to talk to somebody. You can't keep going around with that stuff all balled up in you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And when it's somebody you don't know, you lose the fear of what they're going to do with your information.
My God, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you know somebody, you're apprehensive about them telling everything. Telling them everything about you because you like, it's just who we are. But when there's somebody who doesn't know you, the fear just evaporates. And the more you get comfortable with them, the more comes out of you. And now once they get to know you, they're able to devise strategies to now get deep down in and pull some stuff out of you that you don't even know that it's there.
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
I'm trying to tell you, it happened to us in college. We didn't when it started off. We had some of the elitists from our ministry, but this guy came in that nobody knew from our ministry, and he because we had Pastor Charlie, Light and Bright Elder Wilson. He was there, and there was another person there. And I don't know how they just stopped coming into the room, but Rev Ralph took over.
And he was the man for the assignment.
We didn't know him.
Right. And that's probably why the others disappeared.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So it was God ordained. Trust me on that. But because we didn't know him, I believe a lot of stuff got exposed.
Right. True.
Hold on. Let's see what we got here. She's from the Well Church.
Okay.
This is right. Keisha said, it's best when you don't know them. That is correct. And she says, you don't feel judged. That's right. I think that's it. You don't feel judged with a stranger.
I believe somebody who knows you.
I believe.
It's good. You think that they're going to look down on you. Or say, oh, she's stupid for doing such and such. Yeah.
And this is me. I'm going to tell you, this is my experience in counseling. You're looking for them to say something to confirm why you didn't say everything.
Right. Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, I knew you were going to take my...
Even though what they may have said is not what you think it is.
Right.
But because you're thinking along those lines, you're like, I knew I shouldn't have came here. I know. Keisha says, yes, we spoke about that today. Yeah. Uh-oh. That must be Reggie. Yeah.
Uh-oh. He wrote it down.
You told him.
I did.
He says, many men believe that they are mature because they are grown and taking care of a household. However, we as men can be mature in many areas, but immature in other areas. I was married and taking care of my household and her children. However, I didn't know that I was emotionally immature. In other areas, I was married and taking care of my household. I read that already. You can't grow in any area when you don't know that you, there you go, Reg. You can't grow in any area where you don't know that you need help in. It was until after the relationship was over that I realized how emotionally immature I was. So then I started recognizing my issues and started. You got to give us the rest of that, Reggie. So this is what he's saying is what I've been saying from the beginning. You don't know there's something wrong
because it's your norm.
This is what I've been
my
doing.
Go-to. Yeah.
You're tripping. What are you talking about?
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with me.
It's you. Gotta be you.
Yeah.
It gotta be you. And this is why I constantly say marriage is exposure.
It is an exposure.
It shows you how selfish you really are. Because when you're single, you don't.
Yeah.
Get out. Get out of my house. How my man said yesterday?
No, what he said? I think I'm gonna need you to leave.
I think I'm gonna need you to leave.
When he said it, it was like, oh my God.
Miss Shirley says, I prefer releasing it to Jesus, and then I have that peace within that everything will eventually be okay. Give me his number, Miss Shirley, because I don't get him to come to the house.
Who?
Jesus. I'm joking. I was messing with Shirley. But once again, it's very important, especially, and I'm gonna include women in this. When you get mad, pay attention to what comes out your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to pay attention to what comes out your mouth because it's something you need to work on.
Yeah.
If you're not going to see a therapist or whatever, you got to use what you got.
Yeah. And it's something about human to human conversations that bring out some things. Because it's not a problem. What I'm saying is, it's not a problem taking it to God and releasing things, but sometimes they come back.
So here's the thing, and I'm not negating.
Right.
I'm agreeing with you. Relationships foster accountability.
Right.
Accountability creates exposure.
Right. Meaning, okay, we talked about this. We created strategies that you are comfortable with. And what did you do with them? Did you implement them?
Yeah, but you're going further down in the relationship.
Right.
At the beginning of the relationship, when you guys are feeling each other out, there's going to be instances where your disagreement is going to boil up. Because you haven't been taught conflict resolution yet.
Okay.
You haven't been taught that. So now that you know that there's disagreements and certain things that you dislike, now we go into your process. Hey, we got to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because this ain't working.
At all.
This ain't working.
Right.
Okay. You agree with this? You agree with that? We just married a couple who had been going to counseling, was it 4 years?
3.
3 years prior to getting married, which put us in a position to like, yeah, we'll marry you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they doing the work.
They putting in the work.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and when we say the word work, and I'm talking to men and women, stop looking at it as a job.
Right.
Because the database we have gives that word different meanings to us.
Right.
See, some people don't even understand how important word study is. When you understand how you've been taught to define that word, you'll understand how important it is for you to be careful what you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because what that word means to somebody else is not what it means to your database.
Right.
And your database is what's going to shoot your behavior. It's just how it is.
It is what it, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to go and sometimes into your database and redefine some things.
Yeah.
You got to work is not always a job. That's good, Al. The donate button to be up soon, Rich. Multiple ways to give.
cracking me up over here.
Multiple ways to get
And I'm sleepy.
I'm not sleepy. I've been resting all day.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't. I've been reading a lot today. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. And the reason I say that is when you think of the word work, you got to understand, since you've been a young person, how it's been defined to you.
Right.
And so although you may say, or you may hear a different definition of it, what's in your database?
Yeah, when you hear the word work,
And
right? What does it do to you?
You feel me?
When you hear the word work, what is your knee-jerk reaction?
What does it mean to you?
What does it mean to you?
Because whatever it means to you, your behavior is going to complement your definition of that word.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's true.
It's too many of us that don't spend enough time with ourselves.
No.
Sometimes you come in the garage and I know you be like, this nigga's crazy.
Sitting in the dark. I'm cutting lights on. I'm opening the door.
One thing I don't like is you cut the light on and then you leave. I'm like,
because you need light in your
because
life.
because she had turned the light off.
No.
It gives me a chance to rattle my thoughts.
But that's your comfort. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
because sometimes I be going, I'd be like, man, you thought that? The great thing is it's not followed with a behavior anymore.
Right.
It's just because I'm able to pause my thoughts to go. Like I could be in the middle of a conversation and somebody will say something and there's like a 1,000 things that go to my head.
And you talk about me.
But they don't come out my mouth.
Mine don't always come out my mouth.
Yeah, you use the word always. Yeah, they don't come out my mouth.
I recognize that.
It's not right now in my life. It's not important for me to be right.
Right.
It's not important for me to discredit somebody to be right.
Yeah. Right.
It's just not.
Right.
So I'll just sit there and be like, and they'd be like, "You all right?" And I'll be in my mind, I'm like, "No," but I have to at all times be an example of Christ, even though I'm not talking about him.
Right.
So that when they do get around somebody, the door is open.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, because if I say something crazy and then they walk in my church and go, "This nigga's a minister," I'm being serious.
It's true. It's true.
That dude's a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
Just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't never put those combinations together. Not realizing that something that we may have said can cause so much damage that when you get to the next, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not, because you just stopped talking.
I'm gonna say, but that I would say is a behavior that because people are multiple people in different arenas. So
I disagree. You have to be in control of what comes out your mouth.
Yes, you do. But I'm saying that there are many this is the church, Miss Smith, and then this is the work, Miss Smith.
We can't care about that.
No, okay.
We can care about you and I.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all we can care about.
We care about.
No,
others.
I don't.
I
don't. That's on you. If you don't have enough sense to know that you once you say I do to Christ, that you got a bullseye on you, that's on you.
Yeah.
You know, and then it takes people like you and I and many others to now try to rekindle that relationship because it's bruised. You know, hold on, this person over here was a so-and-so in the church. They talked to me like this, they talked to me like that. And now you gotta get that relationship back on. You know what I'm saying? We can take what we just said and tie it into men.
Yes.
Past relationship hurt causes us to hear a certain way, causes us to see a certain way. And although it may not be what it was in the past, because it looks similar, our database reminds us of what that used to do.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to the person, we withdraw because of what it was in the past, and we never articulate why.
Right.
This is where we're trying to get through that. How do I let you know that this is what that meant to me in the past?
Right.
Now, once you disclose that to the person, and the person does it again,
yeah,
I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much what you just said. They have not prioritized you,
right. Mm-hmm.
you know, and this contributes to the shutdown of men.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, so we was talking about King David, how he cried out to God. It says David didn't just cry; he articulated his sorrow and confusion to God. He knew what he felt, and that helped him pray, worship, and heal more deeply. Let's get to that point right there. We got to start praying more. Not asking God for certain things, but telling God what our problem is.
And be specific, meaning
Yes.
Yeah.
But then we go back to the scripture, and it says clearly, confess your sins to one another, pray for one another, that you may be healed. You got to find somebody, I guess, that you comfortable with, or maybe, I don't know. Somebody needs to know what's going on with you. You got to eliminate the fear factor of what they're going to do with your information.
Right.
Because unless you do that, you're going to be walking around filled up. You're a powder keg, waiting for somebody to light your fuse, and you don't even know you're ready to blow up.
Yeah.
And it don't take much.
Right.
And now you got collateral damage everywhere.
Yeah. Wherein you could have avoided all of it by
the average person that gets hurt from your explosion had nothing to do with filling up your powder keg.
True. Very true.
So we're getting better, man. We're getting better. It says, why does emotional vocabulary matter spiritually? We were just talking about this, how you need to talk to God. It said it helps you pray with clarity and power.
Yes.
It deepens your relationship with others. It keeps emotions from turning into sin. Woo! Jesus. That's good right there.
Keeps your emotions
from turning into sin.
Wow. Elaborate.
Okay. Number one, lying. Because I don't want somebody to really know what's going on. Let me fabricate something.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Now you got to keep lying.
To cover that lie.
What did I tell you? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you that's one. See, I think we have gauges for sin.
But I understand.
Especially when your sin is invisible.
The little white lie.
A lot of our sin is invisible.
What do you mean it's invisible? Oh, meaning
you got the drunk.
Oh.
You got the person that likes crack. You got the person that likes heroin.
Right.
That likes weed. Their sin is visible. But you got the guy sitting back looking at all the women in the church. He's lusting.
Oh my God.
It's invisible.
Wow. Okay.
You feel me?
I do. Yeah.
There are sins that are visible, some that are invisible.
Right.
But because most of people's sins are invisible, they're judgmental to the people who ain't afraid to let people know what's going on with them.
Right.
Those are the people that's getting healed.
Those are
confess one to another.
Yes. Wow.
It's a lot for me. I'm gonna talk about me. I had to learn how to talk to people without, say this correctly. I had to learn how to talk to people and be open to hear disagreement back. You know, be open to hear criticism back.
Right. I was going to say constructive criticism.
It doesn't matter if it's, a person has the right to say whatever they want to.
Right.
But I had to hear
criticism.
I had to be able to hear it.
Right.
And not in my mind tying you up, putting in the back of the trunk.
Wait a minute. You said tie them
I
up.
done tied you up, put you in the trunk for saying that. You gotta understand, cause like,
But yeah, I get it.
Where am I gonna throw that body at?
Yeah.
I had to learn
And
that
they had no idea.
everybody is not gonna like me,
Right.
and their words are only an indication of that,
Right.
and I have to accept it.
Everybody's not able to drink your drink. You understand? Because
I had to accept
to
it.
some people, they can take it down easy. Some people might be a little too strong.
I don't know what you're talking about, but okay.
No, it's in receiving you. A lot of people are not. I'm not saying you per se.
Yeah, you did. You said you.
Well, I can say me.
Then let's say, oh, so we say you.
Yeah, you can say me.
Okay.
A lot of people are just not able to take me all in.
And I had to learn that it had nothing to do with me.
No, but a lot to do with their own perceptions, right?
Not even them. It could just be the situation.
Or the situation, right?
You understand what I'm saying? So me learning and learning what upsets me and what I don't like, I had to learn how to function in those situations. How do I function in situations I'm not comfortable in?
Right.
Without displaying my discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
And I've become great at that.
You're doing really good.
I know I am. I appreciate you telling me that, but I keep account.
Yes, sir.
How the comedian go? Oh, that joke didn't work.
Gotta write that down.
Yeah. People,
Yeah.
you got to journal.
Yeah.
Journal. Everybody else has a story about you, but you. When you going to create your own story?
Right.
You got to have something to go back on that you wrote. And number one, be honest. Let's just start there. Let's just start being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people say stuff to us and it pisses us off, but you need to hear it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Let's be thankful that the person had the courage to come and tell us, hey, you XYZ.
Right. Yeah.
Don't fly off the handle. Take it in.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take a look at this. Because they could be right.
Right. True.
Let me take a look at this. And once you take a look at it and see they're right, don't be apprehensive of going back to them and say, I see what you're talking about. Because that could turn into your safe place.
It's true. Yeah.
If they saw that,
right,
this could be your safe place.
It could be.
You know what I'm saying? Stop all the time going, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I've learned to do that, especially when I'm talking to people, expressing something, and I can hear myself.
That's huge.
And I can hear myself, and it's like, oh, I could say that sounded a bit strong.
Yes.
So, you know, I'll go back and say, you know what? I heard myself say that to you.
That's important.
Right.
In your, how does G say it? In your personal development.
Right.
You know, the target here is personal development.
Right.
This is the target. The target is getting better in some of the things that you think you're already good at.
Right.
It's just getting better. Like I was telling you today, I'm talking about this dude, like my brother, said something to me, and I was like, man. Because if you remember, I mentioned that to you earlier in the week.
Yes.
I said, man, people say I sound rude, this, that, and the third. And it's when I turn on business mode, but it needs to be refined. It really needs to be refined. And so based off who I heard it from, gave it weight.
Correct.
Because he's from where I'm from.
He's from where you're from. And you view him as being a valid individual.
We've been in the gutter.
Right.
So, wow.
So when he recognized
when he said it immediately, I said,
it was like,
Carmen, it was immediate. I said, oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, let me take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I say? I ain't planning on changing.
But he'll soften it up a little.
Okay. That was good. Keep emotions from turning into sin.
Yeah.
And then they give some sins: rage, bitterness, shame. These are sins. All right. How to grow in it. This is what I love about some of these articles. It gives you solutions. Learn new feeling words. I'm gonna talk about Press. It's my man, Pastor Rich Press. He said something the other day, a while back, that I thought was funny, but I said, "Wow, that makes sense." He said, "I walk around the house smiling all the time."
Oh,
And Reese was like, "Dad, what's wrong with you?" And he said he realized that if he practices smiling will be what he does. It's the same thing with your words.
Yeah.
We got to stop being afraid of how people are going to view us based off the things we say. And that goes into one of the subjects we're going to talk about. And it's the one that's called masculine identity. It says, for some, talking about emotion seems to conflict with the traditional views of masculinity. I'm not saying everything that we've been taught about masculinity is wrong, but as we get older, it needs to be tweaked.
It was what they had. You understand? And then you have to consider where our parents came from. You know, the era of kids are to be seen and not heard.
It's that era. It was that era. And
so
it was beneficial for that time.
For that time, right. And then just imagine that our parents.
Yeah, it was just, here's another book. Since we're talking about it, that's not it. It didn't start with you.
Right.
Trauma can get passed down.
Definitely can.
And like Reggie said, you don't even know you got it.
Right.
You don't even know you got
because you've been operating in this.
It's been working.
Your normal mode for so long is literally like part of your DNA.
You've
made it part of your DNA.
It's been in your DNA for the longest.
Right. Because it's been passed on.
It's been passed down.
Right.
And you pass it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you about to say?
How someone had told us how they were and growing up, their father really never had conversations, really talked much, but would just sit real quietly. But like love was conveyed.
Yeah,
right. Love was conveyed.
Right.
You understand? Never could say that he didn't care or didn't love. He just didn't talk very much. And how he operates in it somewhat.
No, he operates in that.
He operates in it, and he's like that silent assassin kind of a person that he conveys his true feelings in his silence.
He can, yes. He can.
Uh-huh.
But does that work all the time?
We don't know.
We don't know. You know what I'm saying? So yes, it's good. Like I was just saying a minute ago, all of it's not bad.
Right.
You got to tweak it. What's not working for the relationship that you're in needs to be tweaked. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta. The name of this show is Better for Today. You got to get better for today.
Yeah.
And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is if you're keeping a record.
Right.
You got to keep a record. If you want to go do Facebook Lives every day, do something
to create a journal.
That you can create something journalistic.
Right.
Something you could go back and go.
Yeah, how many people can admit that when you open Facebook in the morning and it shows you one of your memories from, for how many years back, and it brings back, it invokes such a great memory.
I go back and watch some of our shows, and it's changed the way I approach you from just looking at some of the shows. It's changed the way that I talk in general, just from looking at some of the shows. Now you go back, I go back to Facebook Live, Facebook memories for pictures, just to see pictures. but I'm constantly writing.
You are.
I mean, if you go look at my desk at the office, I got what you call them postums everywhere to remind me of what I should be doing. It's for nothing else but to remind me of what I should be doing. And then there's something like in my books. Like if I'm reading a book, I write a comment and I'll fold the page. And you know, some people, oh, I read this book in 15 minutes. It takes me forever to read a book because
you're doing.
It has to sink in.
Yeah, you're like your daughter. Well, your daughter's like you.
It has to sink in.
She reads it in words she don't understand. She writes them all down.
You
then
have
she
to.
She looks them up. She writes the definitions down. And I'm like,
you have to
just read the book.
No,
and she's like,
You have to understand that book.
She is truly.
It's like it's food.
Yes.
You have to treat it like food.
Yeah.
And now go back and go, well, how did it change how I act, how I think, otherwise you're just a good reader.
Yeah.
All right. So we said, learn new feeling words. So you can pause daily and ask yourself, what am I feeling beneath the surface? Practice naming emotions in prayer. Talk with a trusted friend or mentor. Use terms like I feel, I am. These are starter kits on how to now improve your emotional vocabulary.
Right.
So
that you learn. Those are baby steps in how to articulate your true feelings.
Yes.
Right.
I say this often. Your family deserves the best you.
Yeah.
Not your leftovers.
True.
Because people get tired of leftovers. And we seem to be our most energetic outside of the house. And we come home and now we just, I'm glad to be home. Take you a nap. And now let's convey that energy, same energy with our families.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? Let's learn to say things that bother us when they bother us and not in anger.
Right. Don't hold it in.
Don't wait for it to boil up because it's going to come out prayerfully it comes out in anger and not rage. Because rage can create a behavior.
I don't want it to come out in anger either. Let it come out in love.
If I don't know how to do it, it's going to come out in anger.
I got you.
All right. So eventually, if you have the right partner who, like my wife, that allows me to grow, now I have to learn better ways. Like she would tell me, hey, I would this and the third. So now I had to learn how to say things in a even temperament. And now I think she thinks I'm playing because I'm even all the time now. Nothing bothers me now.
No, he has to say, Carmen, I'm being serious right now.
Because I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because you're bozo.
If that's what you want to believe.
No, I'm just saying. We
don't
laugh a lot.
I'm not going to allow somebody's energy to make me return it in a negative manner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do it.
Right.
If you ask me a question, I'm going to be honest
and
tell you it's not going to be loud. It's not going to be, I'm going to tell you and I'm going to be able to explain to you why.
Right.
And that's where we at, family. Let's be able, the NBA is on, so I'm cutting it short. Let's learn how to talk to people and have them understand what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do not do that, the possibility of them doing what upset you is going to happen again.
Definitely. And being that this is mental health month, men need to.
We have to learn another vocabulary.
You need to position yourself in an arena with people where it's safe. You feel safe.
That's true.
To articulate your emotions, your true emotions, because just like women, you need to express and say how you're really feeling, because the one closest to you is going to feel the wrath of whatever you may have been going through and you weren't able to get it out.
And to a lot of my brothers out there, don't get upset when your mate does not acquiesce to what it is that you're doing or saying, because just like you've been trained a certain way, so have they. Mm-hmm. And it's a growing process.
Yeah. And
you know,
and we each have trained each other in the old way. And as we grow, we mature and evolve into different people. Our likes, our dislikes change. So we have to learn to evolve with one another.
I'm not evolving. Stop putting your hands on me when you're trying to say stuff, try to get me on your side. Say that again now without your hands on me.
What do you mean trying to get on your side?
Say it again. So you can't. What up, Val? Nah, what she's saying is absolutely correct. As we get older,
right,
we change.
Yeah, we evolve.
What we liked yesterday, we might not like tomorrow.
Right.
Might not like today.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So we gotta adjust.
Right.
To not only the change in our spouse, but the change in ourselves.
Right.
But be able to verbalize it.
To articulate it without being angry.
Without anger having to be.
Anger or rage be your fuel.
Be the fuel.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can communicate.
Sometimes it is the only way that some people can communicate. Well, let me change that. It's the only way that you really know what's really going on. When somebody's really angry.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or they drunk.
Yeah. Or they
drunk. Yeah. But we need to learn different ways outside of that. Like, one of the things I value about my wife is when we sit down to eat, we don't have nothing on.
Yeah.
We sit, we eat, and we talk about just things.
Anything.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think as married people, or just if you're in a relationship, try to have conversations without your phone near you and with the television off.
Yeah.
You know, one of the great ways is overeating.
Yeah. I always said food breaks down barriers and walls.
Overeating.
It makes people receptive to having conversations. You understand? About just about anything without showing one another your phone.
So this was lack of emotional vocabulary. Next week we're gonna do cultural conditioning. From a young age, many boys are taught to man up, be tough, or don't cry. These messages imply that emotions are a sign of weakness, especially vulnerability, sadness, or fear. We're going to talk about, the NBA is on. Cut it short. Yeah, I'm cutting it short now. We're going to talk about the cultural conditioning, how we are the way we are, and why we're like that. All right? So I thought it was pretty good. It helped me in the research. This dude's stupid. That's funny. It helped me in my research. I didn't learn anything. I kind of knew all this stuff.
I was going to say, you say now, I read everything, but I didn't learn anything. But watch, you'll end up regurgitating what you said.
I've been reading it all week.
Okay.
I've had it since the beginning, up since Monday.
Okay.
So that part, I knew. I knew about the emotional vocabulary. Mm-hmm. The other part, the cultural conditioning, I might learn something from that. I doubt it. Because most of this stuff we've been through in the father room class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So for Carmen and me, we out. Enjoy. Oh, this dude, because I got a bet with him. Enjoy the rest of the evening. He think it's going to be over tonight. I think it's going to Game 7. And
I think they're going to make it go to.
We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.